Please review the photos for our Asian art auction on 6/29/2025, 1:00 p.m. EST, and enjoy the legendary tale, Celebrated Cases of Judge D. The book, attributed to an anonymous Chinese author from the Ming Dynasty, is a historical crime novel based on the real-life Tang Dynasty magistrate Di Renji, Judge D. The version most widely known in the West is the English translation by Dutch diplomat Robert van Gulik, who also wrote original stories featuring Judge D. The novel uniquely combines 3 separate murder mysteries into a single narrative, showcasing the judge's keen intellect, sense of justice, and methodical investigation skills. The setting is the fictional district of Chongping, where Judge D has just been appointed as magistrate. As a newly arrived official, he is tasked not only with solving crimes, but also with maintaining social order and administering civil affairs. Upon his arrival, Judge D is immediately confronted with 3 cases. Case 1, the murder of the silk merchant, the double murder at dawn. Judge D's first major challenge involves the mysterious murder of a wealthy silk merchant named Hu. The man was found dead in an isolated post station, and suspicion falls on a traveling scholar, Mr. Wang, who was staying at the same inn. Circumstantial evidence seems strong. Mr. Wang had argued with the innkeeper, was seen near the scene, and had no solid alibi. However, Judge D, skeptical of the surface details, begins a meticulous inquiry. He inspects the scene personally, interrogates witnesses, and recreates the timeline. Through detailed deduction, he realizes that Mr. Wang is being framed. The real culprits turn out to be the innkeeper and his wife, who had murdered the merchant for his valuables and planted evidence against the scholar. The case highlights Judge D's careful attention to fact versus assumption, as well as his resistance to corrupt practices, such as accepting confessions under torture, unless fully justified. It ends with the rightful punishment of the innkeeper and his wife, and the exoneration of Mr. Wang. Case 2, the poisoned bride, the case of the strange corpse. Parallel to the first case, a second mystery arises when Judge D receives news of a woman's body being exhumed, seemingly accidentally during construction. The corpse is oddly preserved and dressed in wedding attire. Locals are disturbed by the ghost-like rumors, and Judge D orders an autopsy. The dead woman is soon identified as the wife of a local scholar named Hua, who had claimed she died of natural causes shortly after their marriage. However, the autopsy reveals poison as the cause of death. Judge D suspects foul play and begins a thorough investigation, including interrogations and surveillance of Mr. Hua. The judge uncovers a sordid affair. Mr. Hua had been having a secret relationship with a concubine before and during his marriage. He had poisoned his wife to remove her from the picture and eventually claim her dowry and social status. His lover was complicit in the act. Once confronted with irrefutable evidence, both confess and are executed. This case demonstrates the social expectations of honor in marriage, the limited power of women, and the perils of unchecked personal desire in Confucian society. Judge D is again seen as upholding moral and legal standards in service to both the law and the common people. Case 3, the framed lady, the case of the missing bride. In the third and most emotionally complex case, Judge D investigates the mysterious disappearance of a newlywed bride, Miss Lu, just days after her marriage into the affluent Fang family. The Fang family claims she ran away in shame due to some mental instability or unworthiness. But the girl's family is adamant that she was well-mannered and happy with the marriage. Judge D's investigation reveals that Fang's second wife, he is a polygamist, was jealous of Miss Lu and plotted her downfall. Miss Lu was secretly drugged and sold into prostitution by the second wife and a corrupt servant. Judge D, in disguise, goes to a local brothel and rescues Miss Lu, reuniting her with her grieving family. The Fang household is brought to justice, the second wife is exiled, and the servant is executed. This case stands out for its emotional depth and its critique of patriarchal abuse. Judge D uses not only logic, but compassion and disguise to reach a resolution that restores honor and exposes hypocrisy within a respectable family. Interconnection and themes. While each case stands alone in plot, they are interwoven into a single timeline during Judge D's early tenure in Chongping. The stories unfold simultaneously, showing Judge D's multitasking and how justice must be pursued across different social levels. Merchants, scholars, and aristocrats alike. A major theme throughout is the moral authority of the magistrate. Judge Dee is not merely a judge, but a symbol of heaven's justice. He must balance Confucian values, strict law, and human empathy. His methods, including disguises, logical deduction, and reliance on loyal assistants like Tao Gan and Sergeant Hung, create a Chinese equivalent of Sherlock Holmes with Eastern philosophical underpinnings. Van Gulik emphasized that these stories reflected traditional Chinese legal culture, where the magistrate is detective, judge, and moral guide all in one. Torture is used, but only when supported by strong circumstantial evidence. Confessions are required for execution, in accordance with imperial law. Judge Dee, as an icon Judge Dee, based on the historical Dai Ren Jie, 630 to 700 CE, became a folk hero in Chinese literature. In celebrated cases, he's portrayed as an ideal official, wise, incorruptible, cunning when needed, and always devoted to justice. His assistants provide contrast and comic relief, but ultimately help him maintain order in a society constantly threatened by greed, deception, and social decay. Legacy: the novel was translated and popularized by Robert Van Gulik in 1949, who admired Chinese detective fiction and revived it for a Western audience. He kept the structure of the 3 interwoven cases and went on to write over a dozen original Judge Dee novels in the same style. Celebrated Cases of Judge Dee is more than a detective story. It's a window into Chinese criminal justice, ethics, and storytelling tradition. It blends logic and folklore, courtroom drama, and social commentary, making it one of the most enduring literary portraits of law and morality in traditional China. Welcome to visit Quanrong Gallery. Thank you for your watching and listening.